Good evening once again, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Les Brown's Motivational Monday Night Call, your place for motivation and inspiration by world-renowned speaker, author, coach, Mr. Les Brown, featuring Mr. Brown and his platinum speakers. My name is Dr. Stacy N.C. Grant, and it's my privilege and pleasure to be your host for these motivational Monday night calls. And tonight, you want to make sure you text a friend, send out a post, let folks know that Mr. Brown will be live with us tonight. So we welcome all of our new callers who just found out about the call and have joined in, and all of you who come back every single week to be a part of our family. So I see some are muted already. Just tell us your name, where you're calling from, and what you are grateful for before we get started in the next 2 minutes. Go right ahead, my friend.
Washington, D.C., Stacy and Myron Tubman, great to hear your voice. Excited about hearing your voice.
Oh, my Myron, great to hear your voice. Thank you for always being here and supporting the call and just sharing your light and your love. You are valued and appreciated, my friend. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Stacy.
You're welcome. Who else can get in real quick before we go ahead with the rest of our call? Just press *6, unmute your line, tell us your name, city, state, country that you're calling from, and what you are grateful for tonight. I see somebody's line there trying to unmute. Hopefully you can get in before we get started. And if you don't, no worries. We'll open up the call at the end, but we don't want to delay any longer with getting started. So please stand by as
all callers are muted.
For Mr. Brown. So, Mr. Brown, let's check the microphones and make sure that the world can hear you. We are 2 minutes past the hour, so I wanted to go ahead and just welcome you on the call tonight. Everyone has missed hearing your voice, and we're so glad that you are live with us today.
Well, thank you so much, and I want to thank you for delivering powerful messages when I'm not here and transforming people's lives. I really appreciate you as my friend and also your gift of motivating and inspiring people and giving them a larger vision of themselves that will allow them to create the best version of who they can be. So thank you so much, Stacy, Stacy, Bing, Bing, Denise.
Thank you. And I love it more. There's nothing you could do about it. But I'm going to turn it over to you because I'm just so excited about what you have to share tonight.
Thank you. I want everybody to listen very closely. And I want to ask you a question. Do you really want to win in this thing called life? And when I say win, I'm talking about having peace of mind. I'm talking about positioning yourself so that you can live your dreams and have more choices. I'm talking about leveraging your talents, your abilities, and your skills and your best thinking to generate wealth. I'm talking about reducing drama and stress in your life. Do you really want to win? I want to give you 3 examples of some friends of mine that I've been watching, I've been observing, and to some degree I've participated and attempted to give advice and to be helpful. And I want to share with you the outcome. I have a friend whose son was incarcerated. He spent 7 years in jail. He's with some friends who committed a crime, and he wouldn't snitch, and he got 7 years. And so he got out, doing good. His father's a businessman, very successful, offered him an opportunity to stay with him. And when my friend came home, his son had his friends in the house. They're smoking weed, drinking, and having a good time. And he said, look, I wanted you to come here and to stay with me to get your life together, and you bring these trifling, do-nothing potheads in my house. Get out. And his son said, hey, I'm a grown man. You can't tell me what friends I can have. And he said, no, I'm not telling you what kind of friends you can have, but I'm saying to you, you can't be here and have your friends here too. So you get out. You go stay with them. And so this guy riding around, the son, with a friend of his who was robbing service stations, he ended up getting caught being called the getaway driver, and now he's facing 24 years in state prison. The father is naturally depressed. And I said to him, listen, he had a choice. You offered him a job. He didn't want that. You offered him a place to stay, and he brought all of his sorry, trifling friends to your house, smoking weed, getting high, partying in your house without your permission. And he wanted to go be with them. And now, just being out 2 years, he's facing over 20 years in prison, probably 20 to 30 years. I know you feel bad, but that's his choice. And the only thing I can give you comfort is the prayer of serenity. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things that I cannot change, the courage to change the thing that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Another example, a friend of mine's niece, she met this guy, and they became attracted to each other and developed a relationship. And she discovered after going down the road in the relationship that he had 3 children that he wasn't taking care of. And he was arrested for non-support. Now listen to me. I said, you've been going with him, you've been dating him for 2 years. You discovered that he had 3 children. He was arrested for non-support. And he told you the reason he did not pay child support because the mother was crazy. Okay? He could have paid through the courts, but he didn't do that. My question to you, why would you allow yourself to become pregnant by someone who's not paying child support for 3 children that he already has, been arrested for non-support for his children, and unemployed? Why would you have a baby by someone who's unemployed but has a track record for not taking care of the children that he has already brought in the world? And she paused, and she was thinking, well, he's smart. I said, okay. I know why he's with you, because you are a professional. You got a job. You make good money. But why are you with him? Well, he's a smart guy. Okay. He's a good worker. Excuse me. You told me that he only worked 3 months out of 5 years. He's a good worker? Well, he can't get a regular job because there's a warrant out for his arrest for non-support. Oh. And then what's the third reason? He's an okay father. So why did you have 2 additional kids by this guy, this sperm donor, who is not working, had 3 kids that he wasn't paying child support for, went to jail, and then you have 3 kids by, and you're paying for everything, including his cell phone, the car, the gas, all the bills. Well, he would if he had some money. Now, the reason I'm laying this out here, there are some people who just don't get it. There are some people. There's a quote that until the pain of staying the same is greater than the pain of change, you will never change. I submit to you that as long as her father and mother and family step in to support her and take over the responsibilities that this guy should be doing, there's no reason for her to change. As long as my friend whose son now is trying to appeal his conviction, uses his hard-earned money to try and get his son out of this situation he created for himself, there's no reason for him to do the right thing. If you really want to win, I think you have to allow people to have their own journey. The prodigal son never decided to do the right thing until he hit rock bottom, and then he came to himself. There's a saying I say when I give speeches: let go or be. I got a nephew who went to jail in Georgia, out of jail after spending 2 years in prison. And the police did a routine stop, and they found a gun in his car. He's on probation. To me, why would you have a gun in your car? Well, Uncle, I was in a rough area. Why in the hell did you go in the rough area? And you know you're an ex-felon, and you are on probation. And it's against the law for you to be around with other felons and having a gun. And so now he's facing some more time. And I'm saying to my sister, listen, you're not young anymore. Listen, you've got to ask the question, what makes sense? And where your emotions would lead you, you've got to make some hard decisions that he created this. You did not. You did not. When you were going to visit him in prison, he said you were an unfit mother. I know you were a good mother. He put you on a guilt trip. And you went down there and putting money on his card so he can have money in prison. And he gets out and stays with you for a while, and then he starts running around with his thuggish friends. Does it make sense? And when you think about the prevalence of 81% of the homes in the African American community are headed up by women. 81%. When you think about the high incarceration rate of young men, and they don't care. They don't care. When you think about the fact that these cops will kill one of our kids in a heartbeat, knowing there are no consequences. The prosecuting attorney, the judges, the juries are on their side. And they don't get it. And as I've been grappling with this, I'm reminded of a scripture that says, whosoever will, let him come. And that, to me, what Jesus was saying, work with the willing. And my friend whose son is now in prison, he called me and he said, you know, whatever youth training you do in Cleveland, I want to join you. I can't save my son now, but there's some other young men out here that I can save. And I said, absolutely. You can't unscramble those eggs, but we can join forces to work with young men and young ladies who want to do the right thing, who are making the right decisions, who need just a little help so they can get to that next level. That a person convinced against their will is of the same opinion still. one of my speakers, Johnny Wimbrey, going around the world changing lives. He wrote a book called From the Hood to Doing Good. And he's got a brother that's in prison, got life for murder. How can two young men raised in the same household, slept in the same room, ate at the same table, bathed in the same tub, end up being so dramatically different? I don't know. One of the mysteries of life. But here's what I do know. People have choices. Choose ye this day whom ye shall serve. People have choices. And we must allow them to suffer the consequences or reap the rewards of their choices. And work, and it takes a lot of prayer and meditation and putting things in perspective and understand we can't control the choices of the people that we love as much as we want to. We can't save some people from destruction, from the pains of life. There's some things that life will have to teach them that they will never, ever get from us. And so understand and know life will not push a button and say, just a minute, we got to stop everything right now. Make time stand still. Les got some drama that his son is involved in. And after he gives up his time and energy and hard-earned money to address that, then we'll start the clock again. It doesn't happen. We all have an expiration date, and we don't know when. Our time is up. And what I've learned in these 72 years I've been on the planet is that we have to consciously be mindful of living in the present and to take into consideration a note my mother had on her mirror. And I never asked her why she had it up there, but no matter where we moved, she always put this sign up on her window, on her mirror, that she would see it first thing when she got out of bed in the morning. And it read, "Oh, Lord, help me keep my nose out of other people's business." Oh, Lord, help me keep my nose out of other people's business. Leslie, Wesley, Margaret Ann, Leonard, Angelo, Sharon, Linda, listen to me. If you go to jail, that's your business. Don't call me. Don't call me because I'm not coming. I'm not coming. Help me keep my nose out of other people's business. That's your business. Whatever you are into, not whatever allowed you to go to jail, handle your business. But don't bring that to me. I didn't raise you like that. And I knew it was not easy for her to make that decision. It was hard. And in order to live a life that's rewarding, that has meaning, that has value, and gives you a sense of fulfillment, it takes courage. It takes courage to release the toxic, negative, draining people, even if you're relatives, even if it's a brother or sister, even if it's a mother or father, even if you're children. I've seen friends who allowed their children to stress them into an early grave. Do you hear me? I'm telling you what I know. And so I remember spending the day with Maya Angelou, a life-transforming day, me and a young man by the name of David Bridgeport. And she said, Mr. Brown, of all the virtues in the world, the one that is the most important is courage. Courage. It takes courage to leave a situation that no longer serves you. It takes courage to leave an emotional and physically abusive relationship where you're dying together rather than living together. It takes courage to remove yourself from an environment that no longer contributes to you, that's aging you, that's stressing you out, that's wearing you down. It takes courage to get up and to walk by faith and not by sight and saying, I can't do this anymore. This is not me. I deserve better than this. It takes courage. It takes courage. Decide to be of good courage and let go of people who are making choices that does not make sense. Getting pregnant by an unemployed sperm donor. Let go of the people, grown boys who live off women. Let go of the daughters who make decisions to get pregnant by someone that's stupid and irresponsible. Yeah. It takes courage to do that. And given where we are and all this drama and things that we're going through now, it takes courage to reach out and find some new relationships. Be around people who represent OQP, only quality people, who have goals and dreams, who bring out the best in you, who inspire you to create the next greatest version of yourself. Let go or be dragged. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Stacy?
Mr. Brown, Mr. Brown, Mr. Brown. Oh, it takes courage. That is a word for the ages, and especially when it comes to children and just understanding it takes courage to just stand up for what you know is right and let folks learn. And I love what your mother said. Help me, Lord, to keep my nose out of other people's
Listen, Stacy, I have a friend, and we both know her. Her daughter was going to this church. The minister had a son in the church. His son was a janitor. His son got 6 different girls pregnant in the church. And so he started pursuing our friend's daughter. And
Wow.
he gave her the same engagement ring he gave the other 6 girls who got pregnant for him, and he's not providing any child support. So she said, would you talk to her? Because I know her. I said, listen. I said, this guy gave you the same ring he gave the other 6 girls. Don't allow yourself to get pregnant by him. This is game that he's running. No, but he loves me. He proposed to me. He's going to marry me. He loves me. He said, this is different, this relationship. I'm the one he's been looking for. Guess what? As soon as she said to him, I'm pregnant, he took the ring back, and that was the end of that. That's all I got to say about that, as Forrest Gump would say. Okay, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. We couldn't even say anything. She's crying, I can't believe he did that to me. Why not? And I said, let me share something with you. I said, just think about what his friends called him. She said, they called him Dog. I said, did you ever ask him why? So she said, no, that's just a nickname. So I asked him when I met him. I said, what is your real name? He said, what do you mean? They call me Dog. I said, I understand that. What did your mama name you? Jimmy. I said, okay. Now, why do they call you Dog? Well, they said, because I'm a low-down, dirty dude. I went and told her. I said, guess why they call him Dog? Because he's a low-down, dirty dude. Oh, you know how people signify. Okay. And now you're pregnant by a low-down, dirty dude called Dog. Are you surprised?
Woo, I tell you, Les Brown, when I hear these stories, it confirms to me why I do the work with our whole teen series, especially our young girls, because when you know your value, you would never allow someone to degrade who you are in such a manner. That's insanity to me. But you know what? That's why we have to do this work. That's why we can't stop, because some people just don't know. Someone didn't remind this young lady of her value. And there's no compromising your value. When someone loves you, you are treated like a queen. You don't make excuses for behavior and for people acting outside of their mind. And you understand that your value commands and demands the respect that you deserve.
And for the young men, that you have to decide who you're going to serve. You know, I drive around with my car windows down up here in Cleveland because I see so many young boys walking around with the sagging, with their pants hanging below their butts and showing their underwear and listening to craziness with a beat, window down, music blasting. And I'm looking for the day that we have trained enough speakers and produced enough motivational conversations that I could drive up to a light and a young man or a young lady drives up, the windows down, and they hear something that says, you've got greatness in you. You can do more than you can ever begin to imagine. You have the ability to change the course of history. That, see, when I hear saying garbage in, garbage out, that's not real. Garbage in, garbage stays, and it stinks. And so we have so many people in our culture, in the name of entertainment, listening to things that does not enrich them, listening to things that's filled with profanity and ignorance and sex and violence, listening to things that does not give them a vision of themselves succeeding in the future. And we wonder why immigrants can come to this country and can't speak the language and run circles around the average American. Why? Because when you get here trying to outswim a shark or out on a Jeep barefooted, you're not interested in sitting around smoking marijuana or listening to rap music. You got goals and dreams that you want to achieve. And therefore, you hit the culture, you hit the ground with an achievement-driven mindset rather than an entertainment-driven mindset. And I believe that there are a lot of young people out here who have not made crazy decisions, who want and need some help and assistance, and that our mandate is to work with the willing. Whosoever will, let him come. Work with those that are willing to work to create a brand new future for themselves so they become an asset to society rather than a liability. And that's why at this stage of my life, I feel that there's some Malcolms in these prisons that I am going to donate my products to, that I'm going to start spending some time in some of these prisons to go find them because they're there, for those that can hear my voice, to help to cultivate their skill set and their mindset and help them to become the great men and women that they have it within themselves to become. We incarcerate more people in this country than anywhere else in the world, and the majority of African American males. And the young ladies now being incarcerated at a greater rate than the young men. And some of the crimes that the young ladies are committing are even more vicious and violent. However, I believe that this can be interrupted if we duplicate ourselves, if we multiply the number of people that can use their voice. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God, and dwelt among men, that we can, as we implement a strategy to multiply the voices of hope and peace, that we can, on our lifetime here, usher in a brand new day. I do believe that.
Absolutely. And, you know, it's a broader and a deeper conversation of what we can expose them to, because you can't be what you don't see. And there's a breakdown in the opportunity of knowing your real history and from whence you came. And it didn't start with the portion of the horrific part of history that brought us to this country, but who we are before then. And when you know you come from kings and queens, you don't act like you've lost your natural mind. So it's so much work to be done and so much work to continue, that we can't give up hope. And I just want to publicly thank you. I tell you all the time, but your voice and the work that you have amassed, the body of work over these years, I see how it's touching the lives of a new generation, of the millennials who didn't know the Les Brown in the 70s or the 80s, but now getting to know you in this 21st century. And the words are timeless. The message is clear. And the importance for us to be able to develop our voices, develop our platforms, that we can be those voices of hope, and we can show, particularly in our community, what's possible, because it's a mindset shift. And if you're not exposed to what's possible, if you don't know that there is more, then you dwell in the lower capacity of living, and you're not living full, and you're not experiencing all that life has to offer, because you think that that wasn't a ticket that was bought for you. But when you disrupt that thinking, and when you deposit the right information, you no longer have to worry about the sagging pants, because the head starts to rise and the posture changes, and the movement towards successful acclimation in society automatically happens. And that's why I'm just so excited to be able to do this work with you, to learn from you, and to change people's lives literally. I think about Raymond, one of the young men that call into this call every single week, Les. He is 17 years old, and he is determined to share his voice. He's been on here. He's listened to you. He's been a part of when I presented, or the other platinums, and he's so inspired to talk to his peers and to develop a different conversation, and he shifted his mindset. And that's because you laid a foundation that we're building on. And that if we can touch more Raymonds, if we can touch more Andres, another young man that calls in every single week, then we know that our work is not in vain, and we truly can change this world one person at a time. So I'm just so excited that you were here tonight. This message was timely. And as a mother of two boys, Les Brown, pray for me morning, noon, and night. You hear?
But they came from good stock. I know about them. But as I am preparing to go to court to stand with my nephew, and hopefully the judge would give me the opportunity to work with him, rather than send him to prison for 14 years and put him under my auspices. I tell you, and he's a good kid. He just had a hunger to be around the wrong people. And I believe the world consists of the caught and the uncaught. And last night, I was reviewing my life, and I thought about some dumb, stupid things that I did when I was younger. And because of God's grace and mercy, I didn't get caught. And that's why I'm not going to give up on my nephew, and that's why I'm going to go into these prisons. But for the grace of God, there goes I. But for the grace of God.
Absolutely. And thank you for just saying that and sharing, because a lot of frustration builds up when children make bad choices, and parents, family members, extended family don't always know how to deal. But you just saying those words, you're not going to give up on your nephew. He didn't make the best choices. He made some mistakes, but he's a good kid. And I think at the heart of all of us, there's good that can be worked on and worked through. So you being that uncle and being a part of that village is essential. And I just think about the amount of parents that I speak to. I talked about my own sons, and they are a work in progress, and thank God they are good boys. But every day I have to pray, because you never know what decision they make outside of your presence and your guidance, and you just pray you plant the right seeds that it'll take root. And, we need the healing process to happen. He needs to know that he's still valuable, even though he messed up, and he will do those things to make it right as best as he can and learn from it. And more importantly, being able to now be a beacon of light, because he'll be under your tutelage and really listening this time, and not just giving lip service, but giving action towards changing his life, so that he can be an example for all of his peers who didn't make the right choice or right decision, that if he could do it, it's possible for them.
Yes, absolutely. Well, I'm going to be listening to the comments of people who are listening tonight and hear what they have to say. Thank you so much I love you, and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. Love you more. And we'll talk later. So, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Brown is going to rest his voice, but he will be listening. So I'm going to open up the call. If you have a comment and or question about anything that he has shared tonight, you'll be able to do that. And we just thank you for your presence here on the call. We invite you to just be a part of the community on Facebook by visiting brown.les on Facebook. You can also visit the Les Brown Institute so that you can find how you can position your story, your voice, start your own coaching business. And we have another opportunity for you that is launching with the Les Brown University. So we have quite a few ways in which you can stay engaged with us and continue to be a part of this movement of the thousands of voices of hope that Mr. Brown is preparing all across the globe. So please stand by while I get the call opened up for your questions and comments.
All callers are unmuted. All callers are muted and may unmute themselves by pressing *6.
Okay, friends and family on the Les Brown Motivational Monday Night Call, we are ready to receive your questions and or comments.
How you doing,
So
Stacy?
Hey, sir. It's great to hear your voice. I hope
Great to
you
hear
are
you.
well. You have a question
Yes,
or
I
comment?
am. Yes, I do. Good evening, Papa Les. How are you, sir?
He's just listening in. He's not live
Okay.
right now. 'Cause he's ready to go.
Okay. But I believe in this movement because the reason being a lot of brothers are lost and need direction. And I believe with the grace of God or with the power of God, Les Brown is doing something to change the lives of these brothers because they have been fed the wrong way and whatnot. So I believe he's doing a strong movement of God and to change people's lives because I am with him on this. And I'm looking to see, I would love to see him do live streaming where special events like this where you can see who are all the platinum speakers coming on the live streaming. I don't know if he's going to do that on Les Brown University or live streaming.
Well, sir, I see we have some new callers that are here. I will definitely let him know that suggestion, and he's listening. We do have some events that are coming up that will include technology, and then there's a live opportunity to join Mr. Brown in Florida this weekend. For those of you who are in the Fort Lauderdale area, you can visit Arrive by BNP so that you can be a part of that event. But thank you so much for being here, Serge. I'm going to let our new callers get through, and we're going to make a note of your suggestion. Okay?
Okay. God bless you.
Awesome. God bless. Thank you, my friend. The next caller can go right ahead.
Stacy, can I say something?
Oh, hey, Ray. Of course you can, sweetheart. And then I have a new caller that I think is standing by, but you can go right ahead, Ray.
Okay, I just wanted to tell Les and you, thank y'all. I mean, y'all motivate me from my one little room here.
Oh, well, Ray, we love you.
And I wanted to say something to Les, that these kids today don't go out on a date. They go hook up. And that wasn't heard of in my day.
Well, yeah, a lot has changed, Ray, but, you know, some of the old-fashioned good practices we can still remind them of and model the behavior because that's also something that's key. Children learn best through what they see, not just always what we say. So thank you for being here and supporting, and you know that we love you and appreciate your presence on the call each and every week.
Can I say one more quick thing?
One more quick thing, Ray, because I think, 2 more callers that are standing by.
I know, but you know me. People like
Go right
talk.
ahead, Ray.
I spoke at a Covenant house in Houston, and there was one little girl there, 14 years old. She didn't want to come in. She didn't want to listen, nothing. And the director made her come in. She curled up on a little folding chair with her hands over her ears. And I started out to say, I love each and every one of y'all. So Miss No Listening said, how do you know that? You don't know it. I said, I love all kids. They all have great potential. And after that, he wanted to help me. I was writing on the chalkboard. I handed out little handouts to college, kept asking me to help me. At the end of it, this was worth $1 million. She came running up to me, put her arms around my neck, and kissed me on the cheek. She says, Miss Ray, I love you too.
Oh, and that's all it takes, extending a little love, and children can smell a phony a mile away. So if you're not sincere, they'll know, but your love was sincere, and that won her over. So thank you for sharing that story and just reminding us, Ray, that every day we're above ground is another opportunity to do something wonderful and as simple as sharing some love and kindness with each other. It makes a difference. So thank you, my sweetheart, for always being here, and God bless you. I'm going to let the next two callers speak before we wrap up.
Hello, Stacy.
Hello. Whose
Hi,
beautiful voice is this?
Oh, it's Bernetta. I'm in Ewing. And listening to Les, speak about how we need to really surround our boys with not only the love but the guidance that they so lack today. I totally agree, but I also feel the need that for our girls even more so, because their self-esteem is so destroyed by the images being presented to them. I see walking conflict of I do want to be the educated, moving forward, powerful woman, but in order to have people around me, I got to act ratchet. Like, no. And I see the conflict, and I see it in my students as they're making a decision of how they're going to react to how someone speaks to them. I can see it going across their faces. And we need to really surround our girls, because if we surround our girls as they're becoming young women, they will not accept this behavior from the young men, and they will call them higher.
And that is so key, and you being an educator and in the space of seeing what happens on a daily basis, you know more than most that it's going to take all of us, whether you're in the classroom or out of the classroom, to impact our children. And I agree, our girls need a certain level of support as well as our young men. And if we can all just do a little bit, we all don't have to conquer the world at once, but if we each just mentor one child or speak to one child or to do our best to model the right behavior, we can create that ripple and be able to have the changes that we see. So thank you so much.
Truly, and where the our community comes in.
Ray, honey, your line is still open, so we're hearing your conversation, so you just need to mute for us, sweetheart. No problem. And just want to thank you for just sharing that comment, and definitely as an educator, understanding and knowing the seriousness of where we sit as a society, because our children are our future. It's not just a cute phrase or a lovely song. It's the reality. And we all have a part to play in making sure that they're able, stable, ready participants to contribute back to society. So thank you for that reminder, and thank you for being here. And I'm sure Mr. Brown is enjoying hearing those comments.
Oh, thank you so much.
You're welcome. And there was one other person that was holding as well. I just want to make sure I can get as many of you in as possible before I go ahead and close out our call. We have another commitment that will begin shortly. So you can speak right now. I see someone was trying to unmute. You can go right ahead. Just make sure your line isn't muted, or we won't be able to hear you after you've pressed *6. So while that person is getting the line, I want to remind those of you that are in the Fort Lauderdale area that you have an opportunity to see Mr. Brown live and direct August 11th and 12th at the Sheraton Suites in Fort Lauderdale. You can go ahead and give a call to 954-724-0900. That's 954-724-0900, or visit www.events by Arise, ARISE.com, to get information about this 2-day training with Mr. Les Brown and the first family of motivation. You'll get to meet his phenomenal children who will be sharing the stage and doing the training with him in Fort Lauderdale this weekend. So we want to thank you for your time, your presence, your participation. If your line didn't unmute, we had a full house. We hope to hear you again on our next call, but we appreciate your time and your presence choosing to be with the Les Brown Motivational Monday Night Call each and every Monday. So on behalf of Mr. Brown, the entire team, I want to say thank you for sharing your brilliance with us. This is Dr. Stacy N.C. Grant signing off, wishing you an awesome week. And if you want to connect with me on social media, you can go ahead and do that at any one of my websites. One of the easiest ones to remember is actionbook.com. That's actionbook.com. So God bless you all. Have an awesome week, and pay it forward. Share a little light.